Okay, time. So we are here. This topic is called today, the wings of the Most High. Our last topic last week was about the dietary law, which is necessary, as we went over last week. The dietary law is very, very necessary. Our faith is very, very necessary. Belief in the Most High is very, very necessary. By having belief, we will go on the wings of the Most High by having belief. Okay? Just by having belief and doing what he say do, the Most High will protect us. Let's go to Colossians Chapter 3, verse 17. Colossians 3 and 17, and whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem HaMashiach YAHAWAH, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him. All praises to the Heavenly Father YAHAWAH by Hashem HaMashiach YAHAWAH. And we're going to walk through the Bible. And hallelujah for all the brothers and sisters who are tuned in. Psalms 91, verse 1. We'll read to verse 4. As Israelites, we must give him 100% full trust as Israelites. Psalms 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Who are the only people who are in the secret places of the Most High? Jerusalem is a secret place. Okay? The temple of the Most High is a secret place for the Israelites. Only the Israelites can go into the temple of the Most High. There's a difference, right? The Most High tells us in Romans chapter 3 that there is a difference between the Jew and the Gentile. Definitely a difference. We were granted the oracles of the Most High when they weren't. But he still created them, too. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Most High, he is my refuge and my fortress, and my power, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. What is the truth? The truth is the law, statutes, commandments. Who can be holy? The Israelites can be holy. Can any other people be holy? No, they cannot. The Israelites are the only ones who can be holy because, as we spoke about the dietary law last week, it is to prepare us for ceremonies of the Most High, which the ceremonies only consisted of the Israelites except for the Feast of Tabernacles. It prepares us for these different feast days, Passover, Day of Atonement. Okay, these are things for Israel to do, except for the Feast of Tabernacles. All nations are supposed to participate in the Feast of Tabernacles according to Zechariah Chapter 14, verse 12. This is Zechariah 14 and 14. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver, apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plague. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations, which came against Jerusalem, shall even go up from year to year to worship the King of the Most High of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. There it is right there. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King of the Most High of hosts, even up on them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Most High will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So this is going to go on and on and on for these nations that still have a disgust for Israel. The Most High is not going to bring rain on their land, meaning mercy and gifts. They're not going to get nothing. But it looks like there's going to be a plague of some sort that's going to sweep through their land when they don't follow with the Most High. I mean, think about it today. Is that going on today? What do people gather for the Feast of Tabernacle of all nations today? You know it's not talking about now. So this is something that's going to happen in the future. This is a prophecy that's got to happen pretty soon. So all these nations, if they speak one foul thing about us and don't come to serve the Most High at the Feast of Tabernacles, judgment. Still going to be plagues in the earth. So we have to always remember that. And this country that we call America is going to be that great lake of fire. This is going to be that plague that nobody wants to visit. So this is all prophecy that we're reading right here. But I just wanted to show you that even the heathen is going to have to bow down one feast day out of the year. It ain't Passover. It's going to be the Feast of Tabernacles. Passover was for us, okay? That's our feast days. That's our memorial. That's not the heathen's memorial. That's how you know that the heathen had no parts of our feast days. It's only the Feast of Tabernacles that they're going to have to keep. All right? Let me get to the lesson. Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy 4 and 3. Let's go to the lesson. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 3. Your eyes have seen what the Most High did because of, I won't even say this name, it's a false god. For all the men that follow him, the false god, the Most High thy power hath destroyed them from among you. All right, all these different religions that we see, the Most High is going to destroy all these people for following. All right, Islam, Christianity, that don't follow the Most High and His Son, okay, that don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, he said that every one of them are going to be destroyed from among us. It says, but ye that did cleave unto the Most High your power are alive, every one of you this day. So this is what we have to do. We have to believe on the Most High. So every one of us who believed was saved back in those days, giving our full trust to the Most High. Now this time, every one of us will be saved by keeping His law, statutes, and commandments. Because that wasn't in Egypt. We didn't have law, statutes, and commandments the way that we have them now. Right? They had certain laws, but a lot of that stuff was intertwined with the Egyptian rules and things like that. It's a good thing that we were separate from Egypt to a certain degree. We had our little ghettos in Goshen. But we were still intertwined. Some of our women were still getting married to Egyptians, as we read in some of the scriptures, and having children that were mixed babies. That was going on. Okay? But our job now is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and believe in His one true Son, our brother and King YAHAWAH, out of this captivity. It's going to be a little different than the first escape on this next one. This time, He wants us to prove that we love Him by following the guidelines. We didn't have to do that before. There was really no guidelines, right? Moses told them what the guidelines were when he came back from Mount Sinai, those that believed His testimony, right? That's why when you look at Deuteronomy 4 and 5, in the same chapter, it says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Most High my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. So we receive this in the wilderness, the law, statutes, and commandments. But everyone who believed on the testimony of Moses when he came back was saved, every one of them. What was the testimony? Moses put his hand in his bosom and pulled it out and showed that it was leprous. What was the testimony? He took his staff and laid it out, turned it to a snake. He said, this is from the Most High. What was his testimony? That the Most High wanted them to go worship Him outside of the kingdom of Egypt. That was the testimony. They all believed on the testimony of Moses. But they didn't have the law, statutes, and commandments as we have today. The Egyptians did not eat pork already. They didn't eat pork back in those days because the diseases was just ridiculous with the pork. It's something that most nations of that land didn't eat. Look at the Muslims. They don't eat pork. Most of the nations still don't eat pork in those lands. That's a European thing. But we didn't eat pork. So a lot of the things that we took from Egypt mixed with the testimony of YAHAWAH by Shema Mashiach Yoshai through Moses, we took out into the wilderness. That's why there was so many problems. So the Most High had to create law, statutes, and commandments for us to follow. Straight commandments. Verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. See that? So we received the law, statutes, and commandments. Now we're putting it into action. To become what? To become saints. Let's go to Psalms chapter 50. Psalms chapter 50. Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. It reads, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. That was part of the new covenant, the law, statutes, and commandments. The Most High deemed that on the whole nation of Israel. We accepted it with our mouth. We accepted this covenant. So we became saints at that point by keeping his law, statutes, and commandments. We became saints by keeping the covenant, the Israelites. Let's go to Psalms chapter 91 again. Psalms chapter 91, verse 4. Psalms chapter 91, verse 4. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. We received the law, statutes, and commandments. Now it is our shield and buckler. As long as we have the law, statutes, and commandments, the Most High will protect us. Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. That sounds like the wilderness, doesn't it? All of these verses that we're reading. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, and it shall not come near thee. Sounds like the wilderness. Verse 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked. See that? Because thou hast made thy power, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come near thy dwelling, as long as we keep these law, statutes, commandments. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Right? Remember what the Most High said, too, in Daniel chapter 3, he says that he dwelleth in the kingdom of men. So if you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, he's not going to let any other nation, any other men do anything harmful to you. He dwelleth in the nation. He dwelleth within the midst of men. Right? And he set up whom he willeth. So as long as we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, we will be protected. Verse 13, thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder. The young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. So the Most High said, we're going to trample over all these nations. They're going to be under our feet, just like YAHAWAH said in the book of Revelation. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. See that? Matthew chapter 4. and let's look at how Satan dealt with YAHAWAH. YAHAWAH was a walking Bible, and he knew the name of the Father. Then YAHAWAH led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, same name as the devil, he said, If thou be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. It's like that adder in the desert. YAHAWAH was sharp. Then the devil taketh him up in the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee. It sounds just like what we just read in Psalms 91, because it is. So this is why, a good example of how Satan is attacking YAHAWAH is how the Christian churches are with the Scriptures. They don't really know the Scriptures, but then they'll throw them at you when you're battling. He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. He's trying to make them jump off a cliff. Muhammad did, so I guess he got tempted by the devil and lost, right? He broke his neck. Jumped off the Temple Mount. Committed suicide. He didn't last a second. Verse 7, YAHAWAH said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Most High thy power. Again the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them. Probably saw all these nations too today. And saith unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith YAHAWAH unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Most High thy power, and him only shalt thou serve. So how did YAHAWAH destroy this man, or this being? He destroyed him with the Scriptures. We have to know, and the New Testament wasn't around, so he definitely was whipping him with the Old Testament. Verse 11, Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. My question is to the class, who are these angels? Are they men, or are they actual spiritual flying invisible angels or chariots? All right? Okay, you don't have to answer that. It's just a question. John chapter 18. John chapter 18. And let's get verse 33. John 18, verse 33. It reads, Then Pilate was a Roman leader. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again and called YAHAWAH. YAHAWAH was in ward. And said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews? YAHAWAH answered him, saith, Thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it you of me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? He's being smart aleck. Do I look like a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered you unto me. What hast thou done? What have you done, YAHAWAH? YAHAWAH answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. Okay? So YAHAWAH is telling him, look, this is not my kingdom. But if it was, I could destroy you. I could destroy your whole kingdom. All right? So he held back his power. So who are his servants? Who are his angels? Okay? That's what we have to ask. And who are his saints? We already went over the saints. Saints are the Israelites. Let's go to Jude chapter 1. The book of Jude, right before Revelation. It's just, questions we should always ask ourselves when dealing with the scriptures, because somebody else is going to ask you these questions. Oh, how do you know that's not an angel? How do you know that's not a man? Well, who's the man? Who's the servant? Who's the saints? These are questions people are going to always try to twist you up with. Jude chapter 1, verse 14. Jude chapter 1, verse 14. And Enoch also. Who is Enoch? He's in the book of Genesis chapter 6. All right, he walked with the Most High. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Most High cometh with 10,000s of his saints. All right, so he came with 10,000s of his saints. What you have to understand when we read this, don't think that this is one moment that YAHAWAH came back with 10,000s of his saints. This is over a period of like 1,000 years. After YAHAWAH, how long has he been gone? 2,000 years? The saints are still here. The saints are those who believe. Remember what we read in Psalms 50? Psalm 68, verse 17. Because you can easily go here. Psalm 68, 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Most High is among them as in Sinai and in the holy place. So what we're reading here are two different things. Let's go back to Jude chapter 1, verse 14. Those angels that are with the Most High on Mount Sinai are not the same as the saints. Different. The one in Psalm 68 is talking about the chariots of the Most High in the sky. The saints, it says here, and Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Most High cometh with 10,000s of his saints. This is not talking about the same thing that's in Psalm 68 and 17. It's not talking about chariots. It's talking about saints. These are talking about Israelites. These are talking about a people to come that believe. Look at the next verse. To execute judgment upon all and to convince. How are they going to convince? Are angels going to come out the sky and convince our brothers? You can barely see angels up in the sky. I mean, you got to keep looking every day. You may not see nothing up there. How are they going to convince you? So this is not talking about angels in the sky. This is talking about brethren and sisters. To execute judgment upon all. How are we executing judgment? I thought we can't judge. No. We're coming down and we're telling brothers and sisters to repent. They don't repent, what's going to happen? Judgment from the Most High. To execute judgment upon all and to convince. We are convincing our brethren. All that are ungodly among them. Right? Each generation, there's brothers waking up now, and we're convincing brothers to repent of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, because they do not know the holy law. So they have unlawful deeds. And of all the heard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Okay, so there's a lot of people who make speeches against the saints. A lot of people said that Israel fell, and now they're not a people, and now it's been given to all other nations. That's a bold-faced lie. He's still dealing with Israel. Those are ungodly sinners that are spoken against the Most High. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lust. Can't convince them. They don't want to hear the truth. And their mouths speak of great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. Billy Graham had an advantage. T.D. Jakes had an advantage. Creflo Dollar had an advantage of admiration. People admire this man, these men. Verse 17, but, beloved, remember ye the words which were spoken before of the apostles of our Hamashiach Yahushai, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time, who should walk after their own ungodly lust. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having not the Spirit. They don't have the Spirit because they don't keep the laws of the Most High. It says done away with. But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Spirit, keep yourselves in the love of the Most High, looking for the mercy of our Hamashiach Yahushai unto eternal life. This is what we're supposed to do. Stay grounded. Stay in the faith. Never give up. These scriptures are speaking of us being 10,000s of the saints. All right, this is spoken of in Psalms, 102? Psalms 102, verse 18. Look at this. It reads, this shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise the Most High. For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did the Most High behold the earth, to hear the groaning of the prisoner. We're the prisoners. To lose that are appointed to death. To declare the name of the Most High in Zion, and his praise in Jerusalem. See that? That's our job. We are the people to come. We are the children that came afterwards. We are the 10,000s of the saints that follow Hamashiach. So that wasn't one moment. That was 2,000 years. Psalms 148, verse 5. Psalms 148, verse 5. It reads, let them praise the name of the Most High, for he commanded and they were created. Who was created? The saints, the Israelites that believe, that follow Hamashiach. That keep his law, statutes, commandments. That keep the testimony, which is written in Isaiah chapter 8, verse 16. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 16. We're not going there, but just to make a note. He have also established them forever and ever. This is verse 6 in Psalms 148. He hath established them forever and ever. He hath made a decree which shall not pass. Praise the Most High from the earth, ye dragons and all deeps. Fire and hail, snow and vapor, storm wind fulfilling his word. Mountains and all hills, fruitful trees and all cedars. Beast and all cattle, creeping things and flying fowl. The scriptures is talking about how all these different beasts are going to be at peace. They're going to be at rest. Wherever we were, wherever we are, it's going to be at peace. Verse 11, kings of the earth and all people, princes and all judges of the earth, both young men and maidens, old men and children. Let them praise the name of the Most High, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the earth and heaven. So verse 10, he said, beast and all cattle are going to praise the Most High too. Creeping things and flying fowl. They're going to be thankful. Everything is going to restore. I was watching a video on Netflix the other day. It was called The Earth. I like watching those nature movies, right? And they had this Edomite. He had lived to be, I think he was 96 years old. He may have been older, but he didn't look old. I was like, boy, he's lived a good life. But this man, since he was in his teenage years, of course he had money, traveled all over the world and took pictures of animals and videos of animals and people and did his analysis on how the population of human beings had an explosion of people. We went from like 2 billion to like 7 billion in a matter of 30 years. And at the same time, the industrial world started to grow. and then it started to show the animal population decreasing. It started showing like the Amazon started to decrease. Everything started to decrease because of the human population explosion getting bigger. And didn't mention how Esau was going crazy in the last 60 to 70 years, just slaughtering animals. Just because the Most High tells us in Psalms 148:10 that even the beast and all the cattle, the creeping things and flying fowl are going to rejoice when the Most High returns. They're going to rejoice. Verse 13, let them praise the name of the Most High, for his name alone is excellent. This is Psalms 148. That's where we are. His glory is above the earth and heaven. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints. We're going to be restored. Even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Most High. The saints are Israel. Who are the saints? The saints, again, are Israelites. When did we become the saints? When we came out of the wilderness and the Most High gave us his law, statutes, and commandments. When we kept the law, statutes, and commandments, we became his saints. 1 Corinthians Chapter 6. We were always a chosen people, but we became the saints when the law, statutes, and commandments were implemented. Because it was only for us. It was our covenant. All right, let's start at verse 1. Dare any of you having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints? Why would you go before the law, before the unjust and not the saints? It says, do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? How are we going to judge the world? From the covenants that he gave us. Remember, he said, this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. Deuteronomy chapter 4. That made us saints. Do you know that the saints shall judge the world? Why is that in the New Testament? Because we still got to keep these laws. We can't just go off of faith. Like in the book of James chapter 2, it says, do we make void the law through faith? No, the Most High forbid. We established the law. So I said, do you not know, this is verse 2, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2, do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? That goes back to Matthew chapter 5. He that teacheth the least of the commandments shall be least in the kingdom. Can you judge the smallest matters? The smallest. You got to know all the laws. Verse 3, know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? Now, are angels breaking laws? No. Angels in the sky, the spiritual angels, the ones in the chariot, they're not breaking laws. They run to and fro to take the Most High's word to us. The angels that he's mentioned of here are the messengers who are in the flesh. These are the Israelites. We are the angels down here. Angel means messenger. Okay? It has two meanings. Angel means messengers. So this is talking about the angels down here that dwell on the earth, us, the Israelites. We are the saints. We are the angels. If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, angels live forever. So this is not talking about the angels up in heaven. We have a life down here that dissipates. We die and then we're reborn through the Spirit when the resurrection takes place. Set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man amongst you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. But brother goeth to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers. When he says that, but brother goeth to law with brother, that's talking about to the unjust. That's not talking about the law of the Most High right there. It's talking about they go to law to the unjust, and that before the unbelievers. See that? So brothers today don't keep the law, so they don't know how to judge properly. They don't know how to make a difference between right and wrong. because they never knew the law of the Most High. That's why you see the whoremongering going on. You see theft. You see kidnapping. You see shootings in the streets. You see stabbings. They learn all of the stuff from the enemies. The volume of it, they learn from the enemy. We already had it in us inherently. Remember, the Most High says that he had to sign sin on our hearts with a diamond-edged pen in Jeremiah Chapter 17 and 1. He carved it on our hearts, sin. What did they tell Moses in Egypt? Man, you killed your brother? Moses fled after that. He saw that one of the other brothers was about to snitch on him for killing his brother because his brother was doing wrong. But still, you're not supposed to kill. So we was already committing sin in Egypt. We needed the laws to establish righteousness amongst us, but now they're telling us not to keep the laws anymore. The laws are still here, family. Luke chapter 22, verse 31. Luke 22 and 31. And it reads, and the Hamashiach said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brothers. What did he really say to Simon? He said, don't lose your faith, Simon. And he told him to minister to them like he was ministered to. The Most High will send men to aid you and women when you are low. A lot of us get low in this life. Even though we have the truth, a lot of us get low throughout the week. Our spirit just dropped. We are to minister to one another. Abraham was low, and who did the Most High send to him after Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed? Who did he send? He sent Melchizedek. Melchizedek came and said, stay strong. I am a follower of the Most High. Stay strong. He didn't need much. He just needed somebody to just lift him up just a little bit to believe. Genesis chapter 14. Let's go there. Melchizedek came to Abraham's aid. He's out there. Nobody believed like Abraham. He was leading his whole flock in belief. Lot even departed from him with his whole flock. Abraham felt all alone to a certain degree. Genesis chapter 14, verse 18. Genesis chapter 14, verse 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, which is now Jerusalem, because Salem means peace, shalom, brought forth bread and wine. And he was the priest of the Most High, thy power. And he blessed him and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High, our power, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High, our power, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all. See that? That's all he needed to lift him up, to get back on top of the Most High's wings. That's all he needed. All right? Don't get me wrong. When YAHAWAH shall return, he is returning not as a man. He's not going to return as a man would return. He is going to return. We read in Jude that he cometh with 10,000s of his saints. And like I said, that's not a moment of time where he's going to do that. That's 2,000 years. All the saints are here ministering. We are ministering. We are part of the 10,000s of thousands of his saints. We are ministering now. But when he says he's coming back at the end, when we go to Matthew chapter 25 and 30, this is different than Jude chapter 1, when he says he's coming back with 10,000s of thousands of his saints. The saints are the Israelites. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. It reads, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. What's the power he's coming back with? The Most High's power. He's not coming back with men right here. He's coming back with the Most High's power. What was the Most High's power again? What was his power? Psalms chapter 68 and 17. This is the Most High's power. Look. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. These are angels in heaven. The Most High is among them as in Sinai, in the holy place. So the Most High is sending YAHAWAH with all his power. See that? He's sending these angels. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men. Yea, for the rebellious also, that the Most High thy power might dwell among them. So going back to verse 17, that power is what YAHAWAH is coming back when we read
to Matthew chapter 24, verse 30.
Let's read it again. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power. Okay, coming back with his angels. And great glory. Let's look at Revelation 1 and 7. Just to be sure that these aren't the saints. Just to be sure that these are the angels, spiritual angels coming back. We're going to see these spiritual angels. You ever notice when you watch the UFO channels, these captains that are highly decorated, these battalion chiefs that are highly decorated, that have retired, coming out of retirement, talking about, we saw bogeys. They were just coming out the sky. I was looking at one the other day. This guy was in San Diego near Catalina Island, and he said they were doing some kind of operations, just practice operations, and he said he saw hundreds of UFOs just floating down from the sky. Think about it. If there's chariots out there all over the place, why aren't they doing anything against all these planes? Because they're waiting on that time. They don't have to do nothing. They're just letting everybody know they're there. Hey, we're here. We just can't do nothing to you yet. We're just hanging around. Just hanging around in the sky. But when YAHAWAH returns, he's coming back with the power of the Most High, which are those chariots, and they're going to engage. They're going to engage. Then we will see their power. And a lot of us are going to mourn and be afraid, just like the scripture says. Let's go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. We all going to see them chariots with YAHAWAH coming back. He cometh with clouds.
Steve Justice spent 31 years at Skunk Works as one of its top aviation designers and is now a key member of Lou Elizondo's team. In light of Elizondo's Nimitz investigation, he's taken a fresh look at his predecessor's account.
The most significant part of Kelly's memo is the fact that it was profound enough that he felt compelled to write it down and send it to the Air Force. It tells me he considered it to be really, really important.
The Air Force concluded Johnson saw a rare cloud formation. Justice says that explanation doesn't make sense.
I've read a number of analyses online where they conclude it was lenticular clouds or something. There are some clouds that look that way, but they don't move that way, and that's what sticks in my head.
Those clouds are the Most High's chariots. We read in Psalm 68, verse 17, how those chariots dwell with the Most High. They surround the Most High. You ain't getting to the Most High. There's too many of them around. And then you really don't want to get to the Most High. I mean, it's like, do you really want to get to him? You saw shooting missiles in the sky and everything. Do you really want to? You ain't going to be like Captain Kirk of Star Trek questioning the Most High on a planet. That ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? Anyways, for those Star Trek watchers, let's go back to the scriptures.
Let's go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. Matthew chapter 24, verse 30.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds. Who are those elect? Those elect are the saints. Those elect are the 12 tribes of Israel. It says from one end of heaven to the other. All right? So he's going to send his angels, those spiritual chariots, and they're going to collect us. They're going to gather us. All right? They're going to collect the bones, the Israelites. Matthew 25:31. When the Son of Man, who is the Son of Man? YAHAWAH, he was born of a man. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Now he said he cometh with 10,000s of his saints in the book of Jude. Who do you think he's going to recover? 10,000s of his saints that spoke to other Israelites against the murmurers, against the deceivers, against all those who spoke evil against them. We are those 10,000s of the saints. We are the saints. Verse 33, and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Who are the sheep? The lost sheep of the 12 tribes of Israel. The lost tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Now we really have to do some digging. When he says he prepared these things from the foundations of the world, you have to understand scriptures now. Let's look at Psalms 50:5 again. Psalms 50:5. Because everybody thinks that they were chosen from the foundation of the earth just because they open up this Bible. They think they're chosen from the foundation of the earth, of all nations. No, he's picking only the 12 tribes of Israel out of those nations. Psalms 50:5. Psalms 50:5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who made a covenant with him by sacrifice? It's the children of Israel. It's the children of Israel. It's the children of Israel. Didn't he say he was going to gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other? It's the Israelites. Revelation Chapter 7 talks about how he's going to gather 12 tribes from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Who received the covenants? We did. We received it. All praises. All praises. All right. So look at Ephesians chapter 1. Let's read Ephesians 1, verse 1. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 1. It reads, Paul, an apostle of Hamashiach Yahushua by the will of the Most High. What is the will of the Most High? Keeping of his laws. Going out to teach the word. Right? That's the will of the Father. To the saints which are at Ephesus. Now, who are the saints again? Those who have established a covenant according to sacrifice, according to the Most High's word, right? We are the ones who have got the covenants. As we read in Deuteronomy chapter 4, this will be your sight and your wisdom in the sight of the nations. This will be your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. Verse 2. Let me read on. To the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Grace be to you and peace from the Most High our Father, and from the Most High Hamashiach's Son, Hamashiach Yahushua. Blessed be the Most High and our Abba of our Hamashiach Yahushua, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Hamashiach, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundations of the world. This is talking about the Israelites. that we should be holy. Who's going to be holy? The Israelites. He told us to be holy. Deuteronomy Chapter 6, be holy. And without blame before him in love. How do we keep his love? By keeping his commandments. Exodus Chapter 20, he will establish love upon the thousands of them that love him, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Hamashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. Whose will? The Father's will. To the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved. Who's the beloved? The Israelite. Malachi chapter 1 talks about Jacob is my beloved. Verse 7, in whom we have redemption through his blood. Whose blood? YAHAWAH. He is our sacrifice. The forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace, wherein he hath abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will. We all know that we're Israelites, keeping the law, statutes, commandments. We have historical artifacts. We have newspaper clippings. We have everything proving that the Israelites came from Africa, okay, and was scattered to the four corners of the earth. Even the 10 tribes that were scattered to the Americas. All right? Having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself. So all of this is based on YAHAWAH's good pleasure of teaching us the word of the Most High and his will. All praises to that. Think about all these historical books that we have. All the Christopher Columbus explorations. All these books pretty much say the same thing from the 15th century on down. All of them were looking for gold, but most of them were searching for the lost tribes of Israel. That was the whole foundation. They were talking to map makers in Europe from Spain and Portugal that were Israelites that were saying, I believe our brothers are scattered in the Americas and parts of Africa. This began the explorations. This began the sealing of the covenants of the law with the saints. Okay? And also the slaughtering of the brothers and sisters of worshiping wood and stone. Let's go back to Psalm 68, verse 17. Wood and stone are false gods. You got Islam, you got Mormonism, you got Scientology, you got Christianity of all different cults. Call them a cult. All right? Not teaching us the ways of the Hamashiach correctly. Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. Psalm 68, verse 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Most High is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. Where's the holy place? In Jerusalem, in Sinai. Verse 18. Thou hast ascended on high. We're getting into prophecies now. This is a prophecy. Thou hast led captivity captive. All right, this captivity that we have been in has been captive by the Most High. The Most High has been watching this captivity. He's been watching. He has not taken his eye off this captivity while we've been here. It can't even balance out, even though all these new laws are coming out. Now they're trying to take all the privileges that we had away. Y'all notice that? It's the same thing they did in slavery when they took the chains off our neck. They have domesticated us. And that's the same thing they did with the abortions. They have domesticated us on believing, oh, we need this thing now. We need it. Before we didn't have, we had problems, but we dealt with it, right? But they bring out the abortions, and it was systematically with the Margaret Sanger Act to kill us. She was against us the whole time. Now, parent planhood, it's to the point now where we want it. We need it. Okay? It's the same thing with the chains coming off our neck. Now we want it. Okay? So now, when you look at the scriptures, the Most High has held this place captive. We are just tangled up in all these different wheels of iniquity. Revelation chapter 11. 11 and 6. We've read this many a times before. We're going to read it again. Revelation chapter 11, verse 6. These have power to shut heaven. Who are these? These are the two olive trees. These are the two candlesticks that are in Ezekiel 37, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood. We still have that power right now. We are the 10,000s of the saints today. We just got to believe. And to smite the earth with all plagues. Why do you think all these things are happening in the earth today? It's getting more and more wicked. Why? Because we are striking this earth down with the truth. The truth is tearing them to pieces. It says, as often as they will. We don't even realize what we're doing. We don't realize our power. And when they shall have finished their testimony, let's go to Daniel. Daniel chapter 12, verse 5. We're going to read down to 9. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. What is he talking about? The 12 tribes of Israel, what we just read in Revelation 11. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? Okay? That's what we're waiting on. How long is this going to go on? Verse 7. And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half. And when he shall have, here it is, what we just read in Revelation 11, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Ain't that what we just read in Revelation chapter 11? And when they, is verse 7, and when they shall have finished their testimony, see that? Let me go back to Daniel 12 and 7. And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he had held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a times, times, and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power, what's the power? The Israelites, and the power of the Israelites is YAHAWAH, of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Daniel didn't know YAHAWAH was coming. Then, well, he did, but he didn't know how it was going to go down. Then said I, O my power, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. We are reading the time of the end now. We have it. Daniel didn't. Daniel didn't have it. We are seeing the prophecies taking place now. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 11, verse 7. Revelation 11 and 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, who's the they? This is the 12 tribes of Israel, the scattered power of the holy. The beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them. Isn't this going on now? Aren't they changing laws to hurt us now? Do you know that now brothers can't even record when the police has another brother on the ground? You have to be a certain distance away. But that ain't going to stop nothing. Brothers still going to pull out their cameras, and they just going to zoom in. I don't know why they can still zoom in. These cameras are powerful. I mean, you can zoom in to the moon now. They talk about, oh, you got to be 8 feet away. That ain't nothing. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall be or lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Hamashiach was crucified. And they of the people and kindred and tongue and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Why? Because captivity is being captive. The Most High seeing it all. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry. Aren't they getting tired of the black people protesting? And shall sing gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Who are these two prophets? We read that earlier. Those are the two olive trees. Those are the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth. Those are the angels. Those are the saints. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Our enemies are going to see us take off. We're going to ascend to heaven in a cloud. What cloud? Those chariots. It's a lot of them. It's enough to get us all. It's only a small number. Remember he says we're going to be left few in number in these scattered places where he scattered us to. So it ain't going to be hard for them to gather us. It ain't going to be hard. Let's go to Zechariah Chapter 6. Let's go to, I know I said Zechariah. Let's go to first, let's bring out Isaiah Chapter 6 and 3. I just want to bring this out because it's showing how the Most High is going to save those who keep His commandments. Isaiah Chapter 6, verse 3. And this is talking about the angels that Isaiah saw. Isaiah 6 and 3, and it reads, And one cried unto another and said, this is the angels, Holy, holy, holy is the Most High of hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory. And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. These are the saints. We're going to be just like Isaiah. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Most High of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims. What is a seraphim? It's one of the chariots, one of the angels that sit amongst the Most High. Then flew one, and there's a lot of these seraphims. Most High has 1,000,000 chariots up in the heavens. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongues from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. This is what YAHAWAH is going to do for us. Also I heard the voice of the Most High saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, Here I am, send me. And he said, Go and tell this people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of the people fat. How? By teaching them the laws, statutes, commandments, and that they're doing wrong. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Convert these people. Convince them. Then said I, O my power, how long? And he answered, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. And the Most High have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Y'all get ready. This is what's coming. We're at the end. Our job is to teach. That's what we've been doing. This place is going to be desolate. Now let's go to Zechariah Chapter 6, and we'll close out with this chapter. Zechariah Chapter 6. So Isaiah is prophesying what's going to happen in the last days. They're going to hear, but a lot of people are not going to convert. A lot of people are not going to change. Most High is just going to destroy everything and save those who he loves. This is Zechariah Chapter 6, verse 1. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. What are these chariots? Flying UFOs. In the first chariot were red horses. In the second chariot, black horses. So these are a lot of UFOs. It's like platoons. Okay, because it said in the first was red horses, plural, in the first. So it's like a whole group of them. Second chariot, black horses. And in the third chariot, white horses. And in the fourth chariot, gristled and bay horses. So you had 2 sets coming out of the fourth. Then I answered and said unto the angel that talked with me, what are these, my power? And the angel answered and said unto me, these are the 4 spirits of the heaven, which go forth from standing before the Most High of all the earth. The Most High sending those chariots out from Psalm 68. And they come to destroy, y'all. The black horses, which are therein, go forth into the north country. So where y'all brothers living in the north, well, we all are living in the north. If we're in North America, we up here with the black chariots. All right? And the white go forth after them, and so the white horse and the gristle go forth toward the south country. So the gristle, the gray chariots are different from the chariots up here in the north country.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Chris Mellon, has obtained a briefing document created by the Pentagon's secret UFO unit. The presentation contains a global map of hotspots where U.S. and other military assets encountered UFOs.
This is an example of the kind of data that is available and hasn't been pulled because nobody's in charge, nobody's analyzing the issues. The red dots are reported UFO activity. Blue are military facilities.
This official Department of Defense map has never been released to the public.
Within this large circle is Baja, San Diego, and then the Navy's exercise operating area where they conduct fleet exercises. So here we have a document that says the United States is defenseless against a threat that we have identified, an extraordinary and alarming report. And here we are 10 years later, essentially in the same position.
The Pentagon unit suggested the U.S. military would be unable to defend itself against the UFO's hyper-advanced technology.
Those hotspots were seen all the way back in 1950. The fact that we continue to see these things in our airspace over our military equities time and time again, and we still don't know what it is and where it's coming from, at this point, just throw the white flag up and give up.
The briefing was created for a presentation to senior defense officials and warns if the government continues to ignore the threat, America's adversaries could crack the technology and develop deadly new weapons that would disrupt the balance of power.
This is a live activity. We don't know what it is, even after all this research. If they are a potential adversary like Russia or China that's made some huge leap in technology, we better know about it. Given some of these capabilities they're demonstrating, they could very easily shut out the lights.
Up in Europe and America, we got the black and the gray horses up here, or chariots. Horses are just like horsepower. Just so you know, these things move fast. And when these captains and these chiefs of these airplanes and things of that nature, these fighter pilots, when they clock these guys moving, they clock them at horsepower. They clock them at Mach speed. They're moving faster than the speed of sound. Verse 7. And the bay went forth and sought to go, that they might walk to and fro through the earth. Just like in the book of Job, Satan went what? To and fro in the earth. The angels are still going to and fro in the earth. And he said, get ye hence, walk to and fro through the earth. So they walked to and fro through the earth. Then cried he upon me. These are ones that you probably see from time to time, these walking to and fro in the earth. Then cried he upon me, speak unto me, saying, behold, these that go toward the north country have quieted my spirit in the north country. Why? Because of all the evil going on up here. And the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, take of them of the captivity. Who are them of the captivity? Hey, how many of y'all knew y'all was Israelites before you knew you was Israelites? Most of you didn't. So he says, take of them of the captivity, even of Heldai, of Tobagah, and of Jedediah, which are come from Babylon. Do you know that all three of these didn't know who they was according to their father's registry, but they were Israelites? That's us. This is us, of the captivity. And come thou the same day, and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. All these brothers, according to the father's registry, didn't know who they were. Then take silver and gold, and make crowns, and set them upon the head of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest. And speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh the Most High of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the branch. Who is the man whose name is branch? YAHAWAH is the branch of the Most High. We are the branches of YAHAWAH, right? And he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of the Most High. You don't believe me? Look at John 15:1. YAHAWAH is the branch of the Most High. We are the branches of YAHAWAH. John 15:1. John 15:1. It reads, I am the true vine, and my Father is my husbandman. See that? He's the true vine, the true branch. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me and in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can you except ye abide in me. See that? We are the branch of YAHAWAH. Look at verse 6. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. That's going into that Matthew chapter 13. That's what the angels are going to do. Burn up those who are not necessary according to the Spirit. But YAHAWAH, when we go back to Zechariah Chapter 6 and 12, he is the branch of the Most High. He is the one that built the temple of the Most High. Verse 13. Even he shall build the temple of the Most High, and he shall bear the glory, and shall sit and rule upon his throne. And he shall be a priest upon this throne. Isn't that right? That's YAHAWAH. He's king and priest. And the counsel of peace shall be between them both, between the Most High and YAHAWAH. And the crown shall be to Helam and Tobagah and to Jedediah and to Hin, the son of Zephaniah, for a memorial in the temple of the Most High. Because when the Levites came out, they couldn't find the registry of these brothers. But they knew that they was Israelites. That's us. And they that are far off shall come and build in the temple of the Most High. We're doing it now. And ye shall know that the Most High of hosts have sent me unto you. And this shall come to pass if you will diligently obey the voice of the Most High your power.
This is is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
We are going to be pulled up on the wings of the Most High. And with that, I'm going to end this class. Are there any questions, statements?